Oh boy, it's been a while since we last tapped an anime movie, hasn't it? Not since, let's see here... October 1st, 2018. Wow, has it really been that long? Anyway, if you're here, you're probably already a fan of My Hero Academia, but for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's basically a series that asks the question, what would happen if everyone had superpowers? Which has been approached in various ways through comics over the years, but with the prevalence of superheroes lately, it's small wonder that a superhero-centric manga and anime is one of the biggest ones currently. Back about a year and a half ago or so, I reviewed 2 Heroes, but this time we're reviewing the newest movie, Heroes: Rising. Why there's a colon there, I'll never understand. Why not just Heroes Rising instead of Heroes: Rising? I didn't even realize that was a thing until I saw it on the big screen. We'll just refer to it as Heroes Rising from here on out. Anyway, if you're the sort of person who follows My Hero Academia and are curious about the movie, go see it. Or rent it, or whatever you gotta do to see it, because frankly, it's leagues better than 2 Heroes. You see, in comparing the pair of movies, 2 Heroes felt like the people making it didn't quite know how to make a My Hero Academia movie. It just didn't quite flow, and just sort of felt like they made 3 episodes and fused them together. Heroes Rising has a similar feel to it, but it's way more subtle. The transitions between scenes make more sense, and the action is more interesting and coherent. They do a better job in giving everyone in Class 1A a chance to shine. Not every single one, naturally, but I think that's more because some of the students have bland powers compared to some of their peers. The art quality of the movie doesn't really suffer much, though at times it feels less like a movie and more like actual episodes, as if they were afraid to put the same kind of budget into the animation than they did with 2 Heroes. The bulk of what makes the movie any good is the action, though a few of the fights are a bit half-baked and a bit of a slog. Thankfully, most of the action is actually pretty good, flows well, and are fun to look at. The final fight especially gets pretty damn crazy, but is the most fun this movie has to offer. Naturally, not everything about this movie is perfect, even though it's a direct upgrade from its predecessor, but talking about it requires going into spoiler territory. As I said before, if you're a fan of the series, go see it, cause it's worth it. If you're not, well, what are you doing here? Go see some of my other amazing reviews and critiques. You'll probably only mildly regret it. Alright, on to the spoilers.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening!
Oh man, where to start? Perhaps the most glaring negative thing that stuck out to me during this movie was that it works very, very hard to fabricate a situation where Class 1A would be completely on their own, away from their teachers and more experienced pro-heroes. It's coincidence after coincidence in order to put them where they'd have no one to assist them should things go sideways. Considering you're already suspending disbelief, it's a further layer of disbelief the movie asks you to suspend. Because considering the context of the series, it's completely illogical for them to send the students off to an island on their lonesome regardless of how little crime the island supposedly has. They've been attacked on their own turf before. Who would think it'd be a good idea to leave these kids alone for any real length of time with no supervision? If you choose to ignore that, the next glaring problem I have with the movie is the cop-outs. Toward the end of the movie, Midoriya gives Bakugo the power of One for All, and the 2 team up to finish the movie's antagonist. If you follow the series, that generally means that Midoriya goes back to being quirkless and Bakugo becomes the next successor. After the fight, while All Might is consoling Midoriya, he notes that One for All actually did not transfer to Bakugo, making a conscious decision to stay with Midoriya instead. Oh, and not only does Bakugo not remember any of it, the primary antagonist conveniently lives, then dies moments after the revelation. It's the sort of chain of cop-outs you'd expect from a movie that just pulled out all the stops to make the climax fucking amazing, with all the risk and sacrifice you'd expect from such a huge, important fight, and then immediately throws it all away later for the sake of continuity. Beyond that, the movie's fine for what it is. It checked off all the right boxes of a good shonen anime movie. Good art quality, good animation, fun fights for the most part, and an okay story that works fine if you suspend that additional layer of disbelief as mentioned before. Even ignoring the movie's 2 biggest, most glaring flaws, perhaps the biggest problem that My Hero Academia movies face as of late is that they're just not good competition for One Piece's movies. Both the recent One Piece movies, Film Gold and Stampede, were amazing almost from start to finish. My Hero Academia places a little too much emphasis on its fights, and while the fights are great, the story suffers. One of the things that makes Stampede work so well is that it throws caution to the wind and writes a love letter to fans. There's a lot of care taken in its creation, and it's super obvious that the people working on it are fans themselves. Heroes Rising, however, you don't really feel that as much. On the plus side, the movie does a lot to improve everything short of art quality, so there's clearly some sort of progress being made. Even One Piece took several movies to really hit its stride, so maybe My Hero Academia just needs more time. Anyway, I'm glad you stuck around to the end. Be sure to follow on Twitter, or even better, subscribe here to know when I've got more to say. See you next time.